Hey guys, Kyle, the Death Knight of Anime here, bringing you my review for One Piece chapter 944. And as of the recording of this review, it's past midnight, which essentially means it's pretty much my birthday now. So yeah, this is like this chapter's like a birthday present for me or something like that. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm saying this. It's just a cool little As a manga guy, as a manga anime guy, it's just a cool present, I guess. But yeah, with that being said, this chapter starts off by telling us by pretty much showing us everything going to hell after Sanji and Zoro had interfered and rescued Toko last chapter, which leads to a brief conflict between it was Zoro and Kyoshido, which is giving us enough of a tease as to how powerful the latter is. I mean, just a reminder that from Zoro's the 720-pound cannon is one of Zoro's stronger techniques for sure. Arguably one of his stronger techniques post time skip, and the fact that Kyoshido was able to nullify it honestly without much effort just shows how dangerous he truly is. I mean, it was clear in the earlier phases in the earlier parts of this arc where he was already introduced. It was clear Oda was already setting him up to be a threat early on. But now with this, it definitely showcased he's definitely top tier. I mean, obviously Orochi isn't going to be like a top tier threat at this point. He's basically he's pretty much pretty much Wapple, or he's the Wapple of this arc or something. But yeah, it definitely shows that it's definitely showing that Kyoshiro is definitely someone to look out for, and it gave us, and with the little tease of their little fight too. It just, and I'm curious if one thing I'm curious too about is if this is going to be the actual fight with them, or if this is going to be like the actual final fight with them, or if this is just like a tease, this is just a tease. This is just like a bit of a climax tease, like a bit of tease of just the power that they have, and the climax is where we're gonna get the actual like full on fight. But either way, like I'm really excited to see what exactly Zoro and what a full on fight now between Zoro and Kyoshido is gonna look like now. It's kind of, yeah. I want that shit. I really want that. The other thing to take note of is that Kyoshiro he takes time to say his official title is the Shogun's guard dog, and there's a couple ways we can interpret that. On one hand, we could definitely interpret that as him drawing a line in the sand as to where he stands in this whole conflict, but I don't know, something about this still smells like he's playing the long game on. Still smells like he's playing the long game on something, and honestly, I'm even more convinced of that just for the fact that basically that he never even killed Hiyori. He pretty much faked her death. Like just the fact that he did that already proves to me that yeah, he's doing something behind the scenes. He's doing something for sure. So yeah, he's definitely got a little plan of his own or something, or he's doing something for sure that he's doing something for sure and he's just waiting for the right opportunity to strike. But and just everything we've seen up to this point that involves Kyoshido, it seems like he basically has been setting things up in a certain way for sure. And another thing another thing with that whole Shogun thing, if he was specifically loyal to only Orochi, he would have mentioned it, but he would have mentioned Orochi specifically as I'm loyal to I'm Shogun Orochi's guard dog. But until Oda actually gives us more background on Kyoshiro, we're kind of left in the dark. So with Kyoshiro, yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where he's definitely he's still a very intriguing character, but it's also one of the things where I'm like, Oda, I wouldn't mind if you kind of fast tracked on if you fast tracked what exactly Kyosho's deal is. I'm just saying, but yeah. Of course, that's not the only part of the craziness with this chapter, because we after that we basically cut back to pretty much the Udon mine, where basically where pretty much where kid was brought back to the prison, and he was also brought back with Kamizo, the manslayer, and the big reveal was that Kamizo in this chapter was revealed as Killer, one of Kid's old crewmates. And just based off their interaction alone, I think I've got an idea what happened to Kid's crew. I'm 95% positive that pretty much that Kid's crew has gone the way of what happened with Bellamy and his crew, i.e., they're all dead, with Killer and Kid now being the only survivors. And the reason why I say only 95% is because I am keeping my mind open enough to any possibility that Kid and his crew are imprisoned and tortured. But I'm not optimistic enough to basically that being the actual case. And honestly, just pretty much the fact with just the fact that Killer has, from what we see, Killer has been very emotionally affected, but by what happened to Kid's crew, I think the implication is definitely there enough. Like it showed that the Kid's crew. I think just the fact that he's laughing constantly, yeah, he's gone insane, and I think seeing Kids. I think seeing basically all his crewmates die in front of him was probably what triggered it, and I can only imagine how that went down if it drove him down the path of insanity, and also and honestly, just in the fact that the implications of this chapter, that Killer has essentially lost his sanity on top of everything else we see going on in this chapter, I feel it does reinforce the simple fact that of course, as we know, the Straw Hats are going to get out of this in the end. In the end, it's inevitable that they're pretty much the main protagonists. But kind of focusing on just Killer losing his sanity, it's Oda's way of still telling us that the survivability and success rate is even lower here on Wano than pretty much it was with Big Mom. Hell, I'd even go so far as to say that ever since arriving in Wano, the success rate has been dropping gradually over the course of the arc, to where it's even lower than Law predicted, or than Law thought it would. Like, I think Law predicted it was 10%. Honestly, I'd say it's dropped to at least 4% now, or even lower than that. But, yeah. And yeah, speaking of Big Mom, holy shit, that ending. Because, yeah, Queen, if you thought Kaido was a monster, you've got a hungry, snarling, ravenous beast outside your prison. And I hope you saved enough of that red bean soup. I hope you saved up a little bit of that red bean soup you've been stockpiling. Otherwise, you'll be the first one she devours. Just saying, bro. From that little panel we see, it's basically the situation with the wedding cake all over again. So yeah. And now the fact that Oda's been building this up for several chapters, I think, does prove at this point that, yeah, Big Mom's rampage is going to be the thing that gives out. It basically is going to set the stage and give out that unintentional signal in order for the prison riot and the escape to start. Now, operating on the assumption that Big Mom's memory is still whacked, I think we're also reaching a point where we're going to see Big Mom either regain her memory or start to regain her memory very soon, and either next week or the week after is where I think she's going to fully regain her memory. And at that point, it feels more and more like an alliance of convenience is being set up, because unless Oda's a fucking sadist, I don't think he'd go as far as sticking to Yonko on the Straw Hats at once. And it does feel like just with this alliance of convenience, it could also lead into us learning exactly what the history between pretty much Big Mom and Kaido is, because like I want to remind everyone that a couple like quite a few chapters ago we got the reveal that pretty much Kaido and Big Mom were basically once crewmates. So it feels like at the very least that a little bit of a pathway in order to learn the history of that is being set up for sure. But yeah, guys, that's my review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Odas to Crunchyroll. Death Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, guys.